welcome to this week's 5 questions with. I've got the amazing Arif from AI Beauty. Hi, Arif.
Hello, you all right?
I'm good, thank you. And we are going to be talking about retail. So my first question of the 5 is I'd love to start by asking a little bit more about you. What inspired you to start teaching storytelling as a retail technique in the first place?
Storytelling is probably one of the most powerful assets that we have as brands, as people. Stories are 22 times more memorable than facts alone. And brands like Dove, Nike, Chanel, Dior, Guerlain do them really well. And ever since COVID, we've kind of lost the way that we connect with our clients on an emotional level. And every purchase we make is usually for an emotional one. So I've always led with being an award-winning sales consultant when I was on the shop floor, to educating. I've always led with emotional storytelling first. It's a part of my DNA. And I discovered that we've lost touch in spas. So I really wanted to reaffirm how we do this. And we throw the old rule book out around sales, and we really focus on how to create emotional connection, how to create meaningful connection that is emotionally intelligent, that creates trust, that solidifies ourselves as an expert, and that we can really engage on a fundamental level, and then the sale will come effortlessly. It takes the scariness out of sale, and that's what I wanted to do. I know how difficult it is sometimes on the shop floor, especially in a saturated market. So I try to plug that into everything I do. And I'm so passionate to give that awareness and to give that confidence to our therapists to allow them that next level of retail.
Yeah, and I think that leads very nicely into my next question, which is many spell therapists are more comfortable delivering treatments than selling. We all know that. What's the biggest mindset shift they need to make to embrace the storytelling with confidence?
We seem to think that when a client comes in, it is silence. And we have a consultation in 30 seconds. We get them on the bed as soon as possible because we don't want to deal with client interaction. And it's mind-boggling to me that therapists can use their hands, they can use massage as an extension of their emotion, if you like, where it's actually quite tactile and intimate to touch someone from all over their body to their face. Yet they feel where the empath is or where the gap is through physical communication using language. And language is often a barrier. So there is huge opportunity for therapists to use words and language to bridge that gap and create the emotion they create with their hands, but with their voice. And that is a fear that they have, because if they get in conversation, and a lot of therapists oftentimes are reserved, they're quite holistic in their approach, and that is by no means a bad thing. It's actually a really positive thing. But we can be holistic by the way we communicate as well. So it's about taking the fear, and I talk about the fear of rejection all the time, because if we go out of our comfort zone, people might feel if they recommend something and someone says, no, I'm okay, that is a rejection that you take deeply on. So it's far easier to leave the conversation, don't worry about it, and we'll just do what we do. So that's why we need to make that mindset shift from the holistic approach through physical to the verbal.
Yeah, and I'd never thought about the fear of the rejection, actually. That's really interesting that you mentioned that, because I would have necessarily said it may be a confidence thing, but actually you're right. There is a fear of rejection. So I would never have thought of that one. So thanks for adding that in there.
There you go.
You're running a workshop for us in September. What can we expect?
So the workshop is talking about the untapped power of retail. It's really about how do we reframe retail in spa. And the thing is, even if you just talk retail to people in spa, people's eyes roll. Retail has such a bad rap. And actually, you know exactly what I'm saying. But retail is a path to a wellness holistic journey. Retail is a path to solidifying client retention, to solidifying client journey, and to ensuring that our clients' transformations are far more robust than the service we're offering in-house or in that environment at that time. And by using retail becomes an extension of service. Retail should not be seen as any different to service or the treatment in-house. Retail is an extension of service. It is a precursor to a luxury environment, but also it enables you or the therapist to be an expert and solidify their message or their point of view to allow their client on that journey of transformation. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to learn about methodology, tactics, and tools that I use in my very successful retail excellence course. And we're going to give you bite-sized pockets of information that you can take to your locations and to your environments and actually utilize these to create transformation. And it's all about the small mindset shift. That's what it is all about. And we're going to really look at how we're going to deep dive, how we're going to discover these together, and also understand that it's not about that hard sell. Basically, it's just a conversation with two people talking about what they love. And as soon as you made that emotional impact, the sale is super simple afterwards.
I love that. I've had some really good facials recently with a few therapists, and I think you're right. The ones that have connected with me at the beginning, part of the facial, and then sort of carried on talking to me, that connection really helps. Really helps.
Absolutely.
And what excites you the most about working in the spa industry?
That's a really interesting question. And if I think about the hustle and bustle of the world, I think about the route to wellness and that we have to, mental health I'm a huge advocate of mental health and wellness. I think wellness is a huge trend, but I don't like the idea of calling it a trend. I think it's a necessity in our day-to-day lives. I think there's a lot of focus at the moment in the industry, and I talk quite openly about this, that our locations need to be perfect. We have to have the best spa menu, and we perhaps don't look after our people who work for us. So we're quite happy to advocate that wellness journey. But when it comes to our people, we don't advocate the same for them. Equally, I think wellness is not just what we do, it's how we do it and how we say it and how we connect on an emotional level. It's not about the glitz and the glamour of what it professes to be. So to make that shift in wellness, to transform retail into a wellness journey, to do something that we've been trying to do, or to challenge the status quo, to give therapists a new lease of life, a new confidence in their vocation, to give them the tools to be more profitable, to get more commission and feel unapologetic about it, but also to transform clients' lives in a way where retail is successful makes me very excited. I'm super passionate about it.
Yeah, and I think there's a massive gap in there. The other day I was talking to a few different people, and there's, some spas are really struggling to get 10% retail conversion, but actually, surely every guest should be leaving with something so they can continue that wellness journey out of the spa. And the other thing is, if you're hitting your retail conversion, then you're able better to advocate for your team of therapists with better benefits, better pay, taking time to change treatments or product houses because you can show that you're successful in driving those retail sales. As a final question to wrap up, if you could give one quick tip for boosting retail sales without giving too much away, what would it be?
So retail has to start with habitual mindset shift, and teams have to get over the fear of introducing product. So the first tip I would say is recommend product or talk about product to every client every time, even if they just purchased an hour ago. That is always quite tricky, but there's other ways we can level up. So it needs to be on the tip of the tongue constantly. It needs to be thought about consistently, and that consistent approach is key. So every client, every time, just talk about product, and you will see without doing anything else how sales improve.
That's incredible. I love it. Thank you so much, Arif. We did a really quick fired 5 questions with you. I'm going to put the link to your workshop in September, 24th of September, so that everyone can come and join and learn exactly what you've been talking about on our questions. We'll see you there. I'll put the link below and hopefully see everyone there. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.